And we are back, and we just finished watching Fear Street Part 3, 1666, currently streaming on Netflix from 2021, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 54 minutes. This is the This is the third installment of the R.L. Stine Fear Street, I guess, trilogy of stories that started in 1666 when the lore of Sarah Fier and the curse that haunts Shadyside to this day came about. In this particular story, we open up with what exactly happened in 1666 that will ultimately have ripple effects on centuries of Shadysiders and Sunnyvalers.
And I was right.
Yes, you are. Okay, what did you think?
I thought it was good. It's like there's nothing in this that's spectacular or that's going to blow you away. It's just really a solid little, I guess, horror slasher sort of film. It's I didn't find any of it scary or anything like that.
No.
But it's like a teen adventure or a teen slasher adventure kind of thing. You're finding out secrets. There's like this whole the lore of the town is fully explored.
And explained.
And I kind of always felt it was always going to lead this way. So there was no big surprises here, and it all made sense. The reason why I don't even want to call them zombies, but like supernatural entities. The reason why they would come back and why they would target certain people and why new ones would constantly be getting created. It made sense.
Yeah, it was well done. It was very well thought out. It held my attention from start to finish. Of the three, I still feel like the second one was the strongest, but that doesn't take away from parts 1 and 3. And I think that with part 3, it was nice how it just started with basically 1666. And then at the end, you come back to 1994 and you wrap up the story. But I think...
And you do need to see them in the order that they were released, not... Don't go by the year. That would have been terrible if we would have gone by the year, because it would have just blown the whole story wide open before it even began.
Sure. You were right.
Yes. I like hearing that.
Any complaints? Any thoughts?
You know what? I didn't really have any complaints. If anything, now that I've watched the whole thing, this feels like it was supposed to be a series rather than 3 movies.
Series. Why do you say that?
Because as we're watching it, you're becoming like cognizant of how long each of these are. They're each like 2 hours long. And I definitely noticed that. And to me, it felt like, and I'm wondering if there were actually even little breaks built, because there was obvious break in the third one. And this one that we just watched right now, where they break the action into 2 separate books of the episode of the story. There's 1666, and then they actually demarcate 1994 Part 2. And each of them is roughly an hour long. To me, this felt like, now that I've watched the whole thing, I think maybe it was intended to be like a 6-episode series, and they just decided, you know what, let's just reformat this as 3 movies.
I'm not sure how the books are formatted, so I wonder if that has anything to do with it. But I can see what you're saying. I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I think it works, whether it would have been like 6 30-minute episodes or 30-ish minute episodes, or if they just left it as it is. It's to me, horror movies usually are that 90 minutes, right? They don't usually go past the 90-minute mark.
That's the thing, yeah.
So these are long,
movies,
absolutely.
Especially for like this type of horror, like slasher horror.
Right. So it's a lot. I didn't feel fatigued, but I did recognize that it was long because there was like a lot of world building, especially in this one, because
definitely
they're going to the origin story.
Yeah.
And I think that they needed to lay it out. But I mean, the action moves quickly. That's another thing that was really interesting. For something that's as long as this is, for this kind of genre, it really it was mapped out well, and obviously kudos to R.L. Stine, who provided the source material for this. I'm assuming, being the writer that he is, this was all laid out in a way that lent itself to something like this. I think a lot of writers, not a lot of writers, but there are writers that when you read them, it's interesting how, like, you could say, oh, I could see this as a movie, or I could see this as a TV movie, or as some other like medium that it could be translated to. Exactly.
Yeah. It didn't feel I don't want to convey that like I felt like this was tedious or I was like looking at my watch, but I was aware of how long each of these films were.
Right.
And I mean, it really, like I said, now that I've seen the whole thing, it really feels like this was meant to be like a 6-episode thing.
It could be. I mean, it would make sense. I mean, people have very short attention spans, and plus genre in that particular genre.
Plus, I mean, let's be honest. It's kind of weird that it's just like we're releasing 3 movies 1 week apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really how movies are made.
Sure.
But if you have a TV show and you just decide, let's just edit this into 3 movies.
You know what? That makes sense, I guess.
You've already filmed the whole TV show. Mm-hmm. And a lot of shows now are there. It's like a one and done season sort of thing.
Sure.
You know, and that's great. I'm totally happy with that. This felt like that to me. So
I would love to see more like one season, one and dones in horror. I mean, I don't think
because it totally lends itself to that sort of thing. Your ghost story or your horror story, you want it to have an end.
Sure.
You don't want to end up like Friday the 13th where there's like 18 parts to it and it's just like progressively dumber each outing.
I feel like American Horror Story tried to go in that direction, but it's weird with subsequent seasons, it just meandered. Like the beginning was always exciting.
You know what? As far as American Horror Story goes, they do the same thing. The first 4 episodes are like great, but then it's almost like, oh God, we still got to do all this stuff. Let's just rush our way through this crap. Mm-hmm. It's like, and there were several seasons that were like that to the point where I just stopped watching it. Right. It always starts out good, and like it's nice that it's. The thing that's nice about American Horror Story is it's an anthology. There's no real continuity. You're just using the same actors. It's a different story each time. Mm-hmm. But for God's sakes, write the whole damn thing before you start filming, because
some of it felt like it was on the fly.
Completely obvious that they did not have any idea what the hell they were doing by the time they got to episode 4, and they were just like cranking the stuff out and like, all right, well, okay, he kills them. Yeah. He kills all the characters, and now we're starting with new. It just stop.
Yeah, no, I agree. You saw this with me, and I actually have the DVDs of Harper's Island, which was
Harper's Island was great. That was a lovely one season, one and done slasher flick,
and it was
fun.
It was fun, and I was really surprised that was on Channel 2 because. Some of it was really bloody.
Oh God, somebody got completely torn in half.
Yeah. More than once. I mean, didn't Harry Hamlin get like annihilated by the boat propellers in like the first episode?
I don't remember, but somebody gruesomely died in every episode.
Yes.
I think that was like the thing.
I was like, I can't believe they're putting this on regular television. Yeah. It was so great. Like, I'd love to see more of that.
Yes, I would like to see that too.
I would love to see more of that.
But obviously, come on, finish the story.
Obviously.
Make a solid story so we can enjoy it for a whole season.
But that one was good from start to finish because you never knew who the crazy person was. And then by the end, it's like, it was him or her. I don't want to give it away in case people want to check it out. But I would love to see more of that. I love the idea of anthologies where you have the same characters. And I kind of liked it here, how you see a lot of the previous actors in the original 1666 story, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was cool that they reused a lot of the actors.
There was some...
Even like the little minor ones, like the 2 little girls that they were babysitting in the first one.
Yes,
I think.
yeah.
They appeared in a brief shot in the second and the third one.
Yeah.
So
and characters that you thought were going to have a longer shelf life in that 1666 didn't after that scene in the church or whatever.
Yeah.
with Pastor Miller. So it was that scene to me was jarring because it was like, oh, I didn't expect that, and it's gruesome.
Yeah, they like killing kids on this program.
But yeah, I mean, start to finish. I think there was some complaint about the terrible Irish accents, but it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. The internet loves to complain.
Yeah, they probably could have just had everybody speak normal.
They probably.
I don't think anybody was. It's a Netflix horror movie, and you're watching it for free. Nobody's really going for the authenticity.
Yeah, some people will nitpick, right. But I still think really good set pieces, a good, strong story. It wasn't like the best thing I've ever seen. It's certainly not Hereditary or Midsommar, but
no, like I said, it's a horror movie, but I'll be honest, I did not really feel much horror. It was just entertaining.
It was entertaining, yeah.
It was,
I think there was a couple of decent jump scares. I still feel like the second part was the strongest, but start to finish, where it starts and where it ends, really well done. I was kind of hoping at the end, like in most horror movies, there'd be like that kind of open-ended
They did that with this.
They did?
Yeah. When they go back and they're following the cameras going through they play their second Pixie song in a row.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
And then you see the hand come out and grab the thing.
Okay, I remember now. No, I meant like when you see the two main actors out in the woods. Like I thought something was going to happen there.
You thought something was going to happen to them?
Yeah.
They got their happily ever after.
I guess, yeah. Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this?
I give it a 7.
7? I too would give it a 7. Did you have a favorite character or a favorite scene?
And just this one or the whole?
The whole. Let's rate it on the whole, I guess.
I
mean, it basically comes full circle in this last one.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. No. Like I said, it was good. I don't want to downplay it, but it really wasn't the greatest horror film ever, especially because it wasn't scary. And I got to be honest, if there were jump scares, I don't really even remember them.
I mean, for like, I think of R.L. Stine as like a young adult or a children's writer. So for that age range, I mean, our 9-year-old watched that.
No, this is not a Goosebumps movie.
It's not a Goosebumps. It's a little bit more than that, but. Yeah. Like our 9-year-old watched it and had to shut her eyes every once in a while. So that's what I mean. Yeah. Like from that vantage point, like for you and me, we've seen way worse than this, obviously. So
yeah, but
like
I mean,
this wasn't a thing for us, but from the vantage point of a younger person.
You know what it is? When we would go see slasher films like this, you'd go for the gruesome kills. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not going to have your mind blown. You're not going for the great dialogue or the fantastic acting. You're really there for just the gruesome kills.
Sure.
And this didn't really have a ton of that.
No.
I mean, some people there were like some shots with you could see where like some kills they put some money into it. Mm-hmm. But the vast majority of kills in this were not that shocking. And for a slasher movie, you're gonna find this film wanting.
Sure. But again, we're coming at this from the vantage point that this is probably written for young adults. I'm assuming the age range of these books is anywhere from like, let's say 10 to 14. So in that age range,
I don't know about 10 to. I mean, maybe a little older. I mean, there is some sexual content in there.
Right, that's true. Actually, you're right. So maybe 12 and up, 12, 13.
I would say like 14, 15s. That's when little kids start like wanting to read about stuff like that.
Is that right?
I guess. I'm just guessing.
I'm pretty sure I picked up like some stupid Jackie Collins book before 13, 14.
You know what? I probably picked up like Bio of a Space Tyrant when I was young too, but I don't really remember how old I was.
Right.
But those are the books that you're not supposed to read. You're like, you hide them from your parents. I don't think I don't know. I don't think that
R.L. Stine.
This was made for the typical Goosebumps age group. Like,
no, it's definitely a little higher up.
Goosebumps to me is like 9 and 10. You know?
Okay, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
This is more of like the young adult, like early teens.
So 13, 14 and up. Okay, that's fair, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But
but for that age group, I think this works and it's entertaining. I mean, I know that being a 7th or 8th grader, I would have totally seen this in the movie theater.
That's for the story, but I'm talking about if this is like an R-rated slasher movie. Like I said, you in that genre, it's the kills. It's the over-the-top, gratuitous gore type killing. There's a reason why those Friday the 13th and all those films
did well
because you were just like, oh, wow, that was amazing. Already turning some kid into a cockroach or doing whatever the hell he did, or Jason.
But I think with these movies,
killing somebody with a motorboat.
Like this one was definitely rated R. I think, again, like I said, the scene with Pastor Miller, that scene is pretty impactful.
That was pretty gruesome, yeah.
And there's cursing in here, so I guess that's another reason why they give the R rating.
Nobody went to the slasher films for cursing.
I understand that, but the ratings boards, they have to be mindful. You have a lot of bubble wrapping parents out there.
I'm just saying that this is a slasher or an homage to slasher films.
Sure.
If you're going to do a homage to slasher films, you have to have gratuitous kills.
Right.
Creative killing, people getting limbs chopped off and stuff like that. This is pretty tame. And in that respect, it comes up a bit wanting when you're trying to fill that genre. If you're looking for a slasher movie, probably don't see this. It's not going to satisfy you.
Right.
If you're looking for just a sort of creepy, somewhat gory adventure, this will fit the bill.
Well, to me, this is like the kind of fun summer movie that, like, if you're having a sleepover with your buddies or your gal pals and you're 13, 14 and up, this is a treat. I mean, at that age, I loved going to the cinema to see horror movies.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I would have been all over this as a teenager. If this was out in the theater, I would have been there opening night. And I probably would have paid to see all 3 pieces of this in the theater.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you're 13, 14, 15, what else is there to do on a Friday or Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
You go to the theater and you watch ridiculousness. And it was fun. I think, like, if I was our 12-year-old enjoyed it.
Yeah.
She was very into it. I kind of felt bad that we didn't let her see the first part, but...
Oh, we were testing the waters there.
Yeah.
We wanted to see what we were dealing with.
Favorite scenes or anything, or...?
I already said no.
No.
I didn't really have any favorite scenes. None of the
characters
really grabbed me. I kind of thought it was a bit weird that they just brought that one guy in at the end.
Oh, the guy, the janitor guy?
The janitor guy. Yeah. It was he just felt like he was just thrown in there because they needed somebody to get them into the mall. That was a real sort of character of convenience.
Sure.
And they could have maybe built him up a little bit more throughout the movie or made him part of their little group of friends or something like that. He was just some random dude that they met at a police station.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think this is it's not supposed to be cerebral or anything like that.
I know, but I felt that, like, when you're, I don't know, there's certain shortcuts that sometimes you got to take, obviously, to progress the plot. But this felt like a shortcut that didn't need to be taken. You could have given that guy a little bit more meat.
Either that or not have him. I mean, they could have just broken into the mall.
Yeah, that's true.
It seemed like that was that kind of place where you could just get in.
And it wasn't like he really contributed any sort of brilliant idea. I mean, the little brother was the guy coming up with all the plans,
right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed Adult Christine. Ziggy.
What's her name? Jillian Jacobs?
Yeah,
she was good.
Yeah, but I still feel like the strongest of the 3 was the second part.
Yeah, The Strongest of the Three was the second part. I thought the lead actress was very good.
Yeah.
She portrayed everything very well.
I would say she was my favorite. I mean, I feel like...
I didn't like her in the first one.
Yeah, I didn't care for her in the first one, but you know what's weird?
I didn't... beyond anybody's control.
I didn't really buy into that relationship between Dina and Sam. It didn't feel like they had any kind of chemistry, or is it just me? I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
Even with like the kissing and stuff, it was just still like, eh.
Well, which one was Sam? Sam
was the one that got possessed.
Okay, yeah.
And Dina was...
She was kind of a dull character.
She was.
I honestly didn't get any sense of real personality from her other than I used to be Dina's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she didn't really have any kind of interesting quirks or charm. It was just sort of like she was just there. Oh, we got to save her. We got to save her. We got to save her. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I guess that sort of fits if you're doing a homage to like horror. 80s, early 80s, early 90s, or late 80s, early 90s horror. Most times there was always like some girl who needed saving who was just completely underdeveloped and was just like the damsel. So yeah. I guess there you go. But instead of the hero being some
big jock dude,
it was Dina.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I still like that part of it was like, it didn't feel
like the brother had personality.
The brother definitely had personality. I really liked him. So that's why I was shocked.
Even the two friends.
Yeah, Simon and Katie.
They had personality. Yeah, Sam was kind of a wet noodle there.
Yeah. And I like.
No offense to the actress. I don't know.
I don't know.
She looked familiar. I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything else.
I don't know if it was just something with the script or something. I just really didn't buy into their relationship.
I can go with that.
Yeah, but otherwise, I agree. I think the actress that played Dina was fantastic. She really did a good job. The art department, the set designers all did a fantastic job. It really felt immersive of the time, whether it was 94 or 78 or 1666. Definitely, I think they did a good job with those aspects of the piece. The script was decent. It wasn't, I don't think it was the best thing, but it wasn't the worst thing either. So I think all in all, just a really fun movie watching experience.
I would say, if I was going to sum this up, you're not going to remember this. Okay? It's just a bit of entertainment that'll get you through a couple of hours in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But you're not going to remember this. You won't feel bad that you watched it.
Right.
I think you'll be entertained, but you're really not going to remember this.
I agree. But I do recommend watching all three so that you really get a feel for the story. And definitely watch them in the order presented, because if you start from 1966, it really... 1666, sorry. It's really not.
Yeah,
it'll be a disservice.
They blow all the
story.
Secrets.
Yeah, in that last one.
It's
so
just like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I got to be honest. I kind of knew what was going on. Even in the opening credits, I kind of figured out what was going on with the whole relationship.
Well, I think a lot of this is predictable storytelling.
There's no I see dead people moment in this one.
Right. All right, so you recommend, I recommend. If you haven't watched it, check out Netflix's Fear Street, based on R.L. Stine's Fear Street book series. There is a part 1 from 1994, part 2 that's in 1978, and part 3, which is 1666, but also jumps back to 94 to resolve the Sunnyvale, Shadyside conflict. Yes, that's it from us, and we're going to bid you all a good night.
Good night.